guys, what's up? It's runtime. Um, so if you've seen my last video of chapter 285 review, I was kind of at a loss for words. Like I couldn't really come up with anything to say for the chapter. So I'm here today. I'm gonna cover a little bit of 285. Like a recap. And also, I'm going to talk a little bit about the future. What's to come. So, I made sure I've been avoiding spoilers pretty well. However, I do know, the only thing I know is that, and obviously you could kind of come up with this, but Midoriya is going to go absolute apeshit next chapter, which today is Thursday, so it's probably going to be out soon, 2 to 3 days from now. And so, first, I guess since I'm talking about Midoriya, so for one, his arms are really at the breaking point. It pretty much takes. Now he was able to use. Let's scale back to chapter. Chapter 140. That was when Midoriya was first using 100%, but he had Eri in the back of him. So as you remember, he was constantly breaking his body, but Eri was rewinding it. So it was in this breakdown, sort of what would you call this? It was in like a heel rewind. It was like 100% one for all, bones breaking, Eri rewinding, limbo. So I'm gonna consider that like an unstable type of one for all. Now, and at that point, Midoriya was only at like 10% one for all. Now he is at 35 and 40 on impact. So when he uses 100%, it's probably not as much of a strain. Like I feel like his legs, his back, his other bones are fine. It's just his arms, because he's actually dealing damage on Shigaraki. He has them attached with his, I don't remember which, his left or right arm with the black one. And then he's like punching. He uses him like a punching bag, one of those punching balloon things. So, he could very well just completely lose one arm, both of his arms. At least one of them is just totally wrecked for good. And as, in the chapter, the doctor, they rewound to that. And how many times has Midoriya gone over his limit since then? That was in season 3. In season 4, let's see, that was the overall agency. I think Midoriya actually made it through season 4 pretty safely, relatively safely. He didn't necessarily come out injured against Overhaul. That night, he actually was in his dorm because Eri was sort of keeping him from injuring himself. He was, but she was, like I said earlier, she was rewinding him pretty much. That's a good way to segment into Eri. So a lot of people in the fandom or whatever, they've been saying like, some people have been shunning the fans for even suggesting that Eri will do anything. I think that's silly. The whole point of them, she has to learn how to use her quirk for one. Yes, she's young. She's about 6 years old or something. And as this is foreshadowing. They hinted at this before the time skip. So yeah, before the time skip, they hinted that, and we know this from the joint training. Monoma kind of confirmed that Eri's quirk is a quirk that stores. You can see it, the horn on her forehead or whatever. It grows, so it's almost kind of like it sort of maxes and then she uses it and maybe it kind of depletes down, similar to One for All. So, and so another thing on the idea of how well can Eri heal somebody. I think, the more she trains, she'll be able to do a lot of things. But just the fact that she was able to, she rerouted her father to the point that he didn't exist. So there's going to be no cap. I don't think there's any certain, some people were suggesting maybe she can only do up to 6 months or a few months of healing / rewinding. I say since she, pretty much took her father out of existence. She rewinded her father to the point where he disappeared. If that's the case, then there's no limit to how long she can rewind. And also, on the point of her rewinding her father, I'm kind of tired of people saying this whole Eri has time travel thing because, let's face it, the facts right now. Number one, there is no foreshadowing that Eri can send people back in time. And again, she rewounded her father to the point where he didn't exist. So if her power is actually time travel and not rewind, that means that her rewinding her father, that means that she would have been dead. I mean, doesn't it make sense? So there's that. Then there's Shigaraki. So Midoriya is dealing this damage on Shigaraki, and in 285, he's saying that Shigaraki's regeneration isn't really catching up with it. Shigaraki's sort of known like he's been like on the defensive right now. He hasn't really been able to land any hits on Midoriya lately. More heroes are probably going to help. Right now, the only people who can still fight are Midoriya, not for long. Endeavor, he did get stabbed, but not as badly as Bakugo. I don't think Bakugo is that badly injured either. I mean, they could easily wrap him up or whatever. Midoriya could even potentially stop the bleeding by wrapping him in like a black whip maybe, or Todoroki could freeze him. So, I'll probably have to go back. I'll go back before I read 286 when it comes out. Which heroes are left at the hospital? Excuse me, at the mansion ruins. After Gigantomachia left the area, there was like a tsunami, pretty much, an earthquake. I was thinking maybe Ida could show up, maybe Kirishima, but just because since they're so far away, like who could actually make it there that fast? I mean, it has to be Ida. And Ida, I think Ida could actually fight on. There's probably really only 3 people right now I think that could fight on Shigaraki's level. Others than who we have right now, like Tokuyami. I think definitely at nighttime. Ida is strong, and his quirk, his Recipro, he can do it for like 10 minutes now, which is insane. That's why I think he could potentially beat Gigantomachia to the hospital ruins. He could warn them about him. Kirishima maybe. I mean, since he has that impenetrable shield of his, that means he has better defense than Bakugo and Midoriya, depending on what his Midoriya's quirks will be. So yeah, pretty much Tokuyami, Ida, and Kirishima, and Monoma. I don't know much about Class 1B. We don't see them very often, so I can look back at their quirks or whatever. Oh yeah, so here's what I'll finish off the video. I want to talk about what's going to happen after this arc. Since we know that, this fight's going to end soon, however the heck it's going to end, I think I think Shoto's going to get hurt too. Remember when they showed Midoriya's mom, Shoto's mom, and Bakugo's mom, and Rei, Inko, and I don't remember Bakugo's mom's name. Bakugo's mom was just sitting there. We're looking at a what's it called? It was a scrapbook. I think Midoriya's mom was out shopping, and they showed Rei in the hospital. So there's that, and they also show All For One around that past chapter. And he's kind of showing up now, so that's sort of like a subliminal message from Horikoshi that the moms are probably all going to be worried and they're going to find out what the heck's going on. And we did see that this was on the news. Don't know if that helicopter is still around. That's why I thought that the villains will probably see this on TV and they'll see Shigaraki and they'll join him and get inspired. Because let's face it, you know, whether or not they're able to pull the ropes on Shigaraki or not, if Ida shows up, maybe he brings Tokuyami or Fat Gum or Tamak, whoever, Amajiki, whoever is really around, if he can make it there quick enough, they're not going to be able to beat Shigaraki. Especially with Gigantomachia around, Geten is probably fine still. They have Skeptic. I think Skeptic's quirk is he can like revive somebody from the dead or something. I have to look that up again. Redestro is still around. It would be nice to see Redestro get healed. I want him to get new feet. So yeah, I don't see the heroes winning this. I see them probably escaping and then evacuating. And if they're able to maybe knock Shigaraki out for a little bit or something, maybe Shoto could freeze him. So there's gonna have to be some type of escape plan going on. They're not gonna be able to beat him. So at that point, they have Uchiko. Uchiko has been captured. He's with Present Mike right now. I showed this earlier, but there's quite a few heroes who are already kind of outliers on the apprentices. Like I said, so Present Mike has Uchiko. There's lots of police and people like that. So Shigaraki is going to have to make it to 100%. You might be able to hear a cat in the background. Shigaraki is going to have to make it to 100%. The level he's at right now, he's sort of on this kind of the same playing level as Midoriya. Midoriya is actually making headway right now. He's actually doing damage on him. It's not showing as well, but Shigaraki's body is just not really keeping up. I want to see Shigaraki go on the offensive again, see if he can actually attack Midoriya. Because when that happens, it's over. So Shigaraki is going to have to make it to 100%, and I think he's going to need Uchiko to do that. He's not a scientist. Shigaraki doesn't know how to build things or do whatever. I don't even think All For One knows. Unless he finds a new doctor, which who knows. It has to be Uchiko. And if they capture Uchiko, then Shigaraki is going to have to break him out of prison. And we all know what that's going to lead to. It's going to lead to them having to go to Tartarus. There he is. It's going to have to lead to him going to Tartarus. Shigaraki wins, which I think is going to happen. The hero, we know how quickly, word of mouth spreads, especially in this universe. Stain's popularity and everything. It's because the Shigaraki has all those people he has on his team because of Stain. So I really do think that when this happens, he's going to have a lot of support. He's going to have villains just coming out of nowhere. So, this has been something we've been seeing really ever since All Might's retirement. Villains who were at one point literally too afraid to come out, they started to show up. If you go back to the episode in season 3, you saw the Reservoir Dogs running around. Dobby was committing those murders. He was burning all of those villains he considered not worthy to be recruited. So there's a lot of talks of the heroes leaving. They're not going to be able to go back to UA after this. This is going to change. This is really going to change hero society in Japan as a whole. This could lead to All Might's death really quickly as well. So, so really, if the heroes are going to have to go to America since they're in Japan though, they're actually, I'm the best at geography, but I'm pretty sure that means they're closest to Australia, which should be like below them, and then also there's like Europe / the United Kingdom and but yeah, so here's the last thing I want to say, because this isn't really worth making another video. I feel like at this point, Principal Nezu is very suspicious. I think he has to be on the villain side at this point, because no principal would let their students be involved in this crazy raid that's going on. Some people have claimed war crime, which This isn't technically. I don't think I would consider this a war or a war crime, but that's definitely something that they could get in trouble for. So I think I've covered all I wanted to say. This is like a future, discussion video. So if you like the video, you like what you see here, subscribe for more. Follow me on Twitter if you want to talk to me outside of YouTube. And with all that out of the way, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.